What's up, guys? It's me, Packy from the house, and today we're going to go over the 5-step bowling approach with Tanner Simmons. So let's jump
Just
in.
like every video we do, we're going to highlight something that he does well, like that balance at the line, that great ball roll that he has, and then we're going to give him a couple tips that he can work on to try and really bring his game to the next level. So the biggest thing I would notice for him is, the ball kind of bumps out at the top, and I think that is directly related to his footwork. So we're going to go through his footwork a little bit. He uses a 5-step approach. You see that first step right on 15. So we're going to talk about the direction of his steps. First step right on 15. Then we have the second step, crossover, not bad. It's on that 20, 21 zone. And then that third step is really where I would like to see him improve a little bit. You see this third step is way out here. It looks like it is right on like 28. And then you see him slide back in, right along that 25 area. And I think, we see these steps kind of go all over the place. And I think if he could straighten out his footwork where it's not so far drifting to the right, you see he starts on 15 and then he comes back in at 25-ish. If he could really just kind of straighten his footwork out so he's not walking so far to the right, then that swing could fall in line. So I've said this before in a couple other videos. I think footwork is the biggest thing in bowling. It helps your game get good pace, good rhythm, and your legs are a lot of where your ball speed and rev rate can come from. He clearly doesn't have a problem with the ball speed or the rev rate. It's just that swing direction bumps out at the top as he's walking to the right. So if we could get that in line, and my biggest suggestion to getting that in line, I would move a little bit to the right, and I would try and just really, it's something, maybe it's you put tape on the approach. You ask the center if you can put a piece of tape or two on the approach and see yourself walking a little straighter. Try and walk as if you are walking down the street, or as if you like to walk a little faster to the approach, maybe a little brisk walk to the approach. But I wouldn't try and walk like you're bowling. I would try and just walk like you're going down the street or down to the park or wherever. But I would try and walk a little straighter, a little more normal, instead of trying to run away from the bowling ball almost, as we do here. And I think I think the swing, you don't need to try and fix the swing, because once you fix your footwork where it is a little straighter and you get that third step a little more in front of you, I think the swing will just fall right into place. Another thing that I would like to point out along with the footwork would be his starting position. So I like that the knees are bent right here. We're in a pretty athletic stance here. Right here, we got the knee bend. Pretty good. Bad artist, but great knee bend. But on top of that knee bend, I would like to see you bend over a little more on your upper body. You're pretty upright right here. And then as once you get to the line, your body, so, you got some decent spine tilt, but your body right here, I would say almost start at this angle, a 70, 75 degree bend with your back. I think that's perfect. Whereas if you start upright, you have to fall into that bend. I think if you just start off a little more bent over, a little more athletic position, I think it'll help you stay more consistent at the line and have more consistent shots. And on top of that, another thing I would like to see, since the ball does kind of bump away from you, it looks like right here, before you even start to take that first step, you're facing directly on lane 30, maybe, your target here, it looks like you're facing your target. I would open up your hips even more. Whereas, if you see you're facing pretty much directly here, lane 30, the head pin, it looks like. And then as we get to the line, now you're way open and you're facing lanes 27 and 8, which I don't think is bad, seeing as right now you're facing your target. But I would like to see you open up those hips, open up that shoulder to start, instead of as you go through the approach, your hips flying open and your shoulders flying open to that, correct spot that I would like to see you at. I think it makes a little more hard. It makes it a little harder to make those solid shots and those repeatable shots if you're trying to open your hips and shoulders as you're going through the approach. Whereas if you almost preset, okay, this is the angle I'm going to use right here, from your hips, where I'm looking this way. If you try and preset that when you're back here on the approach, where maybe your chest is facing a little more towards lanes 27, 8, 9 instead of facing directly up the lane at lane 30. I think that would add more consistency to your shot making. And when you go and bowl on those super hard patterns, or you really need one in the 10th, it's going to be a little easier for you to make a really good shot instead of trying to adjust mid approach to where your ball is going to be. Yeah, I mean, you have a really solid game. You do a lot of things right with, your hands inside the ball. You have great ball roll and your balance, which is something that to me is just all based on discipline, where if you're disciplined enough to keep your knee bent at the line, if you're disciplined enough to stay down and post the entire shot like you do here, then your scores are just going to improve dramatically. So those two things that I gave you between the footwork and the starting position where you kind of face your target to start, you're a little more athletic to start. I think those two things can really help your game, excel to the next level, where you can not only crush these shots, this house shot like you do here, you can also go out and bowl against, some of the better players in your area and beat them when they're a little harder. So that's those are my couple tips for you. And I think you got a great foundation to bring your game to the next level. So thanks for sending it in.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. And if you want a video just like this one put up on our YouTube channel of your own, click the link in the description for a 50% off code that you can use to upload your video.